Hi, I'm Gail and welcome back to Low Carb Recipe Ideas. Today we're going to make ourselves a plain cheesecake. You can put any topping on that you want. So we're basically just doing the crust and we're going to do the filling of the cheesecake. It's not your standard baked cheesecake. This is a light version of a cheesecake and it's low carb and I think you're really going to enjoy it. So let's get started. So the first thing we need to do is make the crust for our low carb cheesecake. So I've got my little Ninja machine here. And I need 1.5 cups of almonds. Now I like to grind my own almonds, and I do get the almonds that have their skin on because there's way more fiber and your carb count is a lot better with the almonds with the skin. So I'm putting in 1.25 cups, and it does take 1.5 cups of the almond meal to make the crust, but because I'm grinding myself, I end up having more. So I've just got 1.25 cups here. So we'll start grinding it up. Now you have to be careful when you're grinding it because if you grind it for too long, then you end up getting almond butter, and you don't want almond butter to make your crust with. So just check it and see if you feel you've got it ground enough. Now I feel this is ground plenty. So we're going to put it in the dish, in our mixing bowl. Make sure I got it all. Now I'm going to take 3 tablespoons of xylitol. Now xylitol I like using. It doesn't affect your blood sugar. There's no carb count in xylitol. So this is why I like using it, but you don't have to use xylitol. You can use stevia or different sweeteners that are out there. I just don't like stevia by itself. You could even mix part stevia, part xylitol together if you'd like, because I don't like the aftertaste of the stevia by itself. And I have melted a little bit of my butter here, so it's 1/4 cup of butter. So I'm going to mix this up. So as usual, my hands are clean and I like working with my hands to mix this kind of stuff up. So I've got it all mixed up. Now I'm going to bring in my Pyrex pie plate and we're going to put the crust in and then we're going to press it around and fill up the pie plate. And it takes a little bit to do this. This isn't something that I find it doesn't work the same as the graham wafer crumbs when you're making the graham wafer crumb crust. So it's going to take you a little bit longer to press it up along the sides and get it all even. And then I like using my spatula because that helps press it down. I'm going to have to get my hand cleaned up here in a minute and then I'll start using my spatula. So I'll keep working on this, and when I've got it done, we'll start making our filling. So what I've done is just to kind of let you see what I do, I've laid it all in and then I've taken it and I've kind of made a circle around the edge so you can see, and I just take I put my thumb along the edge up here and then I'm just pressing to make it nice and even, and then once I've got that the way I like it, then I start working on the base just to join it up so it meets up with the rest of the pie crust. And like I said, it is a little harder to work with, I find. The spatula does work pretty good to flatten it out and press it down. And that's it. So now since we've got our crust all pressed in here, I turned the oven on at 325 for 10 minutes is what we're going to bake it for, and it should be all ready to go. So I hope that kind of gives you an idea. You do have to work with the crumbs to make this come together, but it works out quite well. So I will put it in the oven, 325 for 10 minutes, and that just gives the almonds and the butter and the sugar and everything to blend together, and the butter will help stick it together when we have our filling finished. So now we're going to make the filling. So I need my sweetener. So I have xylitol that I like to use. It's a very good product. You can use stevia or trivia or any other. So I have 3/4 cup of xylitol, and I put it in my food processor, and I'm going to make powdered sugar out of it. There we go. So now we have powdered sugar. Lots of people use icing sugar for their recipes, but we're going to use a xylitol, and we put it in the food processor to make it a powder. So we're going to dump it into the mixing bowl. Now I have Philadelphia cream cheese. This is a light Philadelphia cream cheese. And I picked it because of the carb count. It's 1 carb per ounce, and there's 8 ounces in the package. And it's lowering calories because of it being the light. So we're going to use our mixer, and we're going to blend this together. So we're going to mix the sugar and the Philadelphia cream cheese together. So now we have our xylitol and our cream cheese whipped together. The next step is we're going to use dessert whip or Cool Whip or whatever you want to call it. This is a selection, it's a no-name brand, and I want you to look at your labels to really try and find one that has the lowest in carbs. The lower the better. So this one isn't too bad. Now what I've done is, this is a liter, I've cut it in half, and that makes 2 cups because there's 4 cups in this container. So I've taken out 2 cups, I've thawed it, and now I'm going to add it into this mixture. I have to move my, there we go. It's a very light cheesecake. It's a no-bake cheesecake, other than we baked the crust, the almond crust. But we're trying to make it as low in carbs, but still really tasty. So I'm going to mix this together. There we go. So there we've got our filling. It's very tasty, it's very light. I think you're really going to enjoy it. So now I've got my crust. It's cooled off. It's been sitting out here while I was preparing this, and it's cooled off quite a bit. So I'm going to take my cheesecake filling. Excuse me. We want to get as much as we can out of it because we just don't want to waste any of it. It's so tasty. So we're just going to level this out into our dish. And the nice thing is you can put anything you would like as the topping on your cheesecake. Now, there you have to look again as to decide what you want to use, because cherries are a lot higher in carbs. Depends on how much you're going to put on each of your pieces. I sort of slopped right there. Or you can put fresh strawberries on. I know when you buy the cans of pie filling, like the cherries and stuff, it's very, very high in carbs. So let's try and use some fresh fruits. Anyhow, we'll let this go in the fridge, and let it set and get nice and cold. It's even better the next day if you make the day before. That way it's set a lot nicer. So, there's our cheesecake for now. I'll put it in the fridge and I'll be back with you once it's nice and cold, and we will be serving it with strawberries. So here is my low-carb cheesecake. Now what I did was I put fresh strawberries on top. You can put any kind of berries on top. I picked strawberries just because it's lower in carbs. But I'm sure you're really going to enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed this low-carb cheesecake as much as our family does. One of my people that follow me on my blog, Rebecca, asked if I had any kind of plain cheesecake. This is a no-bake, low-carb cheesecake. It's very easy and quick to make, and I hope that you give it a try. It's very good. You take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.